Honorable sisters, brothers, and friends, good morning. Time to rise and shine. I wanted to maybe give a try in public presentation in the political science field called dirty politics by most for obvious reasons. And it was hinted to me that my speaking voice, and especially written English spelling, grammar, maybe is not for a professional politician. Well, I thought about it, and I said, well, what is, in the discipline of literature, what is the most difficult challenge that maybe I am not qualified to be a politician? And it came up that there is the poetry. Poetry is the highest form of literature. Well, I croon a tune, and most tunes rhyme. My opinion is that real poetry, the words, there should be, I think, like 4 lines and 4 groups of lines, is my opinion of maybe what's sort of presentable, symmetric, and rhyme. Not that somebody writes their opinions and they put it in as poetry, and it's really, their opinion is really a little discussion. You can say, well, it's the verse within the verse as they're presenting, not real poetry. So, what is maybe the best poem? Well, my opinion was Trees by Joyce Kilmer. And then as I researched a little bit, it says that that is the most known poem, and so popular it was set to music. Well, Trees is a lyric poem by Joyce Kilmer and became popular and set to music by Oscar Rosbach and performed by Nelson Eddy, Robert Merrill of the New York Philharmonic, I believe, and Paul Robeson, probably in the movies. Well, they were real opera and classical singers. The music with the lyrics is something like this. I think that I shall never see a poem as lovely as a tree, etc. Now, for this preacher to continue to raise the state-of-the-art of the discipline of theology, man's greatest challenge, study of all beliefs. How did we get here? The greatest challenge is, how did we get here? Why are we here? What best to do? Perhaps I should emphasize where I'm coming from. Recall I did mention from a historical, philosophical, and scientific viewpoint. This developed from presenting my beliefs. Critical are, there is a divine God, proved by Christ. Christ is the second person of the divine Trinity. And per the incarnation, that's uniting humanity and divinity, Christ came here, Jesus the Christ on earth. Please note the eternal divine spirit permeates the universe. Now, in raising the state-of-the-art of discipline of theology, chronologically, I have to mention my Universal Pure Christians, and as I have, I think, mentioned, you, in my opinion, have to prove what you present. Most difficult is, of course, in discipline of theology, proof of divinity. From a scientific viewpoint, I have presented, I think, the greatest presentation in the history of the human intellect, proof of divinity. And I have a video or videos on that, and I think you can research them. Now, I don't want to sound braggadocio, but then I have to mention what I really have achieved, and that if somebody has something better, please present it. And if it is better, I'll acknowledge it. Or if it's at least equal, I'll say, gee, that's equal to whatever I have presented. Or at least give credit of its quality. Now, when you want to do something professionally, I think it has to be where the person does it in a mature, starting moral, reasonable, sensible, mature fashion, presentation, manner. I think that if a person is at least 18, then they qualify for that. Under 18, they can present maybe better than anybody, but it will be as a youth, not a mature person. I actually, as far as certain subjects, say you should start at 21 plus. Now, personally, I prefer to only discuss matters with people 50 plus. But at least 18 plus and preferably 21 plus, and then personally 50 plus. Now, you begin Jesus Christ's adult ministry when he's with his apostles. And his mother asked him a request. And he said, well, I hadn't planned to have this as the beginning of my adult ministry. But because of your request, I will begin now. And he transforms water into wine. Now, those who say, oh, that was magic, well, I don't think he had red color, like type of lemonade up his sleeve. He told us, the servants there, those who were doing some of the work at this wedding, he says to fill jars with water, and they did. And then he instantaneously, dramatically transformed water into wine. And he said, all right, now bring him to the chief steward. And when they brought the what was water now in this jar to the chief steward. He wanted to taste this wine that they brought him. And he said, well, this is real good, fine wine. He says, usually we open our best wine to our honored guests at the beginning. He says, you've been saving this until now. He did not know that Christ had changed the water into wine. So I don't think it was a magic trick. The chief steward, in my opinion, proved that it was wine. Do you realize scientifically what Christ achieved instantaneously? It took to the 1940s to transform matter into, definitely in the 1940s, let's say even 1920s, certainly in the 30s, and then, of course, in the 40s, the actual transformation of matter into an enormous amount of energy, as Olinto de Prato mentioned at the prestigious Science Academy of Veneta in Italy. Took us all of that time and all those great scientists and work and billions of dollars to obtain a transformation of matter from one element that was the heaviest to fission into two other elements and release the energy in this fission. Christ instantaneously transformed water into wine. They are not the same composition. I don't hear biologists especially, or scientists, not in the discipline of theology, it's definitely the discipline of physics and chemistry. I don't hear them discuss that. How did Christ do that? Don't get silly and weak chit-chat artist about, oh, well, this, that, or the other thing. Maybe it was like magic, or he did some. Stick to the science. It was transformed. And the chief steward proved it was not only wine, a fine grade of wine. This is real fine wine. Now, what you have then is that in this first divine miracle proof, he proved he had divinity from God over nature. That's divine miracle number one. We'll take them chronologically. That's what you have to do if you're going to really be honest and unbiased and raise the state of the art that some say they're to have their doctor of philosophy in the discipline of physics or chemistry or etc. They have a PhD. They are a professor in that discipline and teach others. Well, from the most honest, unbiased reality, comprehension, realistic, and scientific viewpoint, you have to say what's truthful. Till tomorrow morning, have a real good day.